So I guess I will start. Can you hear me?
Yes, can.
So good afternoon, everyone. Salam Ramadan.
Yes.
Today's topic is on well-being and mental health in this crisis situation. And just a disclaimer, I'm not a professional in the health industry. And these are my takeaway from attending a AIAC webinar with the same title. So it was quite an insightful webinar as the speakers were managing partner of Wong P, partner of Christopher Lee and Ong, people from Screen, and a clinical psychologist as well. So to kickstart the webinar, the sharing today, I'll first share with all of you the challenges of working from home during this MCO. So the outbreak of COVID-19 may be stressful for people, and fear and anxiety about this disease may be overwhelming and cause strong emotion in adults and children. Coping with this stress will make you and the people you care about and your community stronger. So firstly, is of course the limit of freedom and change of our daily routines. Our daily work is affected, and our workspace, before we came back to office, may be shared with strangers if you are renting, family, or even your pet, and parents may be working with children at the background. So there are little delineation between what's our work office and home. So the second challenge we have is, which I'm experiencing myself, is inefficiency. So things take longer to be done when we are at home. There may be IT glitches, your physical files, your statutes, or your support group may not be around when you're working from home. Working from home will be especially challenging as our homes are not set for extended working hours or arrangement. We always feel like there are many things to be done, and there are things yet to be done. Thirdly, of course, there's social and professional isolation. Many of us, lawyers or anyone, fancy themselves as sociable people. Indeed, more of us strive in working in groups better. We are missing juniors speaking to senior lawyers, facilitation directly from support staff, and supervision of your seniors. All these are all stopped, at least on direct contact due to MCO. We may have conference call.
这个是谁的？这个是公司每次。哎，怎么也这样了？
都不一样的。
Okay, they're muted. So even having a conference call, like now, having a call with Zoom or Microsoft Teams or any other tech platform are now the same. The lack of face-to-face interaction, the rate of body language, which we humans are very used to, and institution of human are all missing. So in short, communication just flow better when we meet face-to-face and work face-to-face. Next, there's of course frustration in dealing with client due to uncertainty in light of MCO, as we are all in these uncharted territories. And lawyers, especially lawyers, may feel pressure when the client are demanding to provide certainty in the rules, in the provisions or principles. So this may lead to a phenomenon of burnout, a handy term to describe tiredness or fatigue from having constant to keep ourselves busy. Many lawyers, young or old, or any employee basically, believe that they must be, if not more productive when working from home. There's just this general expectation. I'll discuss about this more later. And with the blurry distinction between home, office, and life become worse when you're only facing a laptop or just their phones, mobile phones. And some of you, which I have heard of, may be working very long, with the long hours, and you never really off work when you're working from home. And of course, the elephant in the room is the economic stress. This may be worsened with the rise of unemployment and the potential stunt of professional growth that may actually lead us to losing a generation of young lawyers, with court hearings being postponed, slow corporate transaction works. Many lawyers will have nothing to do, especially the young ones. And as they are unable to gain the experience, they are unable to progress. So the above encounter may eventually lead to mental health challenges of especially young professionals who are more susceptible to mental health issues. So what are the mental health in this? What are the mental health situations in this crisis? When we are isolated from our loved ones during this MCO, it may cause us to feel worried about them, especially our families, of all the possibilities we can think of. Secondly, there may be potential fear of unemployment and concern of what the future will be, especially for the young professionals. Humans generally like to access our risk and like to have a sense of certainty. This is a problem when we are facing this COVID-19 situation with very much unpredictable situation of the virus. We don't know, people around us might be infected and we don't know. Market that we like to go to buy our groceries are also having infected cases, which we also don't know. Some people are even dying without any apparent symptom of the virus. And this may really cause a stress and anxiety on top of the MCO. And fourthly, when you look around, when you are staying at home, you feel isolated, bored, helplessness, and at the same time, you are learning from the news that there's a rising rate of people dying globally, and this may cause depression to develop. So here are some signs that we can take note of about our well-being, mental well-being. So as you can see, if there's a drastic change of sleeping patterns, difficulty in swallowing, meaning you feel that you have difficulty in swallowing your saliva, it's a conscious action which is caused by anxiety. There's a mood swing, extreme mood swing. You feel tired and lethargic easily. You lose interest of things that you love to do. You feel withdrawal symptom from your loved ones. And lastly, you feel very difficult to concentrate. So next, I'll show you a video from TED on how chronic stress affects our brain. So I realize you all can't hear the audio, is it? Can you type in the chat? Could you all hear the audio earlier?
No.
Can. Okay, basically, just now there was a IT glitch lah. So this is a potential stress that we might encounter if we are working from home. Yeah, this is one example. Just now, in short, I don't really know how to fix the audio, but in short, they are saying that chronic stress will cause activation of a hormone called cortisol, which will cause certain damages to your brain. One of it is depression. It may cause depression. And how to counter the loss of cortisol is actually being active in exercise, meditation, and also being focused. Yeah. So in short, that's the essence of the video earlier. So moving on, it's not all bad news. There are a few methods that we can adopt to relax and reduce the stress. First, it's you may practice deep breathing and meditation. You may join the 2 sessions organized by Maizato every day. That will really help you to reduce your stress and promote calmness in ourselves. And art is an impressive tool, an expressive tool to calm ourselves as it promotes sensory relaxation. So it helps to calm and relax your sensory as you are doing some arts. It can be singing, can be listening to music, etc. And fourthly, in order to reduce stress, you may share the issues that contain the stress to someone else. Of course, you share it to someone that you can trust, not a mulut tempayan or just anybody. So by sharing this, it can be a story, it can be an issue to someone else you can trust, you can feel that the stress is diverted. It's not like you pass it to your friends, but you feel that your stress and burden is lessened by having someone listening to you. And last but not least, staying connected. This is very important because human, we are very into interaction. We are very into group activities. So nowadays, being isolated due to MCO will basically stop all those interaction that we possibly have. So that's why we have Zoom, like what we're having now. But just to discuss further, there's a potential fatigue by having too much of all these conference call, as again, we humans tend to prefer face-to-face communication. By having too much of Zoom call, whatever, telecommunication, conference call, it will actually cause fatigue to us. So again, it should be moderation in using all this tech platform to have conference call. So next, just a little technique to promote concentration. It's called the Pomodoro Technique. It's Pomodoro, it's tomato in Italian, according to Google. So basically, this technique is really simple. You just have to identify your task, focus for a good, you can set a time from 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And once the time is up, you can take a short break of 5 minutes, let's say. So you repeat the cycle from 1 to 3. And as you keep repeating, you feel that you are able to focus more, and it will help it will help to enhance productivity at work. So this technique is especially important or useful when you're working from home, since there are too many distractions around us. So next, this idea I borrowed from Kashmir. She had one of the talk about your mind is your kingdom. So do remember that you are the controller of your mind. So what goes into your mind, what goes out from your mind, it's all up to us. So there are 5 things that we can do in relation to mind. So when we feel that we are very conscious about how we feel things, we feel very anxious, very stressed, it's important to remember that this is normal. So normalizing anxiety, it's something you can do. You shouldn't put it away and neglect it, but you should face it front and forward, and think this way. Anxiety is normal, yep. And it's very common, and we should talk about it, especially in workplace, for example. So second is offer perspectives. So sometimes we are stressed about things because we are stuck in a circle and stuck with our perspective. So it's important to open up your mind and listen to what others say, and with different perspective, it may change our mind. So as highlighted just now, you may shift your spotlight of the issue, because with different perspective, an issue may not really be an issue anymore. So shift the spotlight and encourage distraction. You may you may do things that you enjoy. They are able to relax and calm your mind and distract you from any stress that you have. And most importantly, be kind to yourself, and don't be over harsh with whatever things that you feel that is not going to the right way. Don't be too harsh on yourself, and value yourself. It's important to note the values that you have, you bring to the people surrounding you, and be happy. So in these uncertain times, what are the things that the leaders or the supervisors can do to support the employees or the intermediaries or their teammates? So the following action may also be considered by us to be done to our fellow colleague. So first is be compassionate and patient, as someone's experience of MCO might be very different from yours. You may be thinking of someone may be suffering financially due to this MCO, especially those daily wagers who are basically unable to bring any food back home due to the lack of money. Second is understand that perfectionism has no place when you're working from home. We shouldn't apply the same set of expectation of work as it is not attainable when someone is working from home. And thirdly, supervisor, like the bosses, and supervisee, like myself, should work out a suitable working arrangement. As some may prefer to work through Zoom, some may prefer to work on messaging. So this should be discussed between the bosses and the staff to find out what is the suitable working environment or arrangement. And fourth is very important. Sometimes we may not realize the importance of checking with our colleague. So by saying a random, how are you? EY actually did a research on what can companies do to improve their employee well-being, mental well-being. And it turns out that by just saying, how are you? By checking in with the colleague, it actually helps to promote the mental well-being of the employee. So maybe after this sharing, you may just check in with your colleague and ask how had he or she been doing during this MCO. Did he or she cook anything nice or special? You know, all this is it's a human touch, that something that we miss during the MCO. And last but not least, even in uncertain times, leaders should be as transparent as possible, and leaders should not mask any bad news, and they should treat the employee honestly. And for example, if there's a need of a pay cut, discuss it with the employee genuinely and openly. And if needed, leaders should volunteer to take a pay cut to set an example to the employee. And if this situation permits you to think of a long term, the bosses may be rewarded loyalty from the employee and retainment rate as well. So next, so how can we actually help ourselves? So first thing first, we should put on the oxygen mask first. As when we sit the airplane, then the announcement of the emergency, and you should wear your safety mask first, as you should always take care of yourself before you are in a position to take care of others. And be compassionate and patient. This was mentioned earlier. Be kind to yourself and to others. Be calm and proactive. So this part, maybe you can practice mindfulness activities. As mentioned earlier, this is a bit repetitive, I know. And maybe you can join the sport club activities. Okay. For example, the challenges, I'm sure there are more challenges coming up. Last we had was a plank challenge. Yeah, it was a great sweaty session where everyone got to interact, even virtually. Everyone got to interact, and that is a very important element. And last but not least, we should always try to indulge in things that we like. Or in this MCO, perhaps you can have a new hobby. For instance, there are many new master chefs. Many people realize that they can actually cook more than Maggie Mee. So you may discover new hobbies and be dynamic. And all these will help to promote your mental well-being. And next, I will show you a video about effective stress management. How can you effectively manage your stress, as many of us might be facing in work or in life in general. And again, I'm not sure how to fix the audio, but I'll let on the subtitle if needed. Do you all see a glass? You can type yes in the chat box. Okay, so this is not the optimism question, the half glass full, half glass empty. You may watch this and try to get the lesson from it. So, turn out it's just a video full of text. So there's no subtitle needed. So in this video, we stress the importance of stress. We stress the importance of not holding whatever emotions, negative emotions too long. So because the longer you hold it, it will just develop further and further to the worst situation. So after this video, maybe you can remember this analogy of, are you still holding your glass of water when you feel really stressed? And sometimes we feel stressed due to tight timelines, due to their strenuous work, their massive amount of work. And this is not uncommon in the workspace. And we should always remember, sometimes there are good stress and bad stress. So if you are able to adopt the stress and utilize it as a motivation, some people are able to use stress, some people love stress to motivate themselves, to strive better, to improve themselves. So if you're able to think this way, you may actually use part of the stress to motivate yourself. But if you cannot, and you're holding it long enough, it's time to, put down the glass of water. And after this video, it's the end of my sharing. I wish to emphasize this, it is okay to ask for help. It is never an embarrassed thing. Research show that there's a high rate of mental health issues due to, and many of them are too shy to share about it. So sometimes you just have to remember this. It is So I guess Zoom also know that I finished my share, cuts me off automatically. So thank you everyone for joining and tuning in. I hope everyone stays safe and do practice social distancing. Thank you.